What if I told you the way it has always been done is not the best way? Facing your fears will change your life. The passion behind this journey is merging two separate worlds into one with the goal of creating value and awareness for a better life.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode is brought to you by R&R Pipeline, an infrastructure company. Our purpose? Enhancing America's infrastructure with a safety-driven, integrity-led culture that provides an environment for team members to grow and thrive. Welcome to another edition of the Iron Infrastructure Podcast. And on today's show, I want to talk about problem solving. Does anybody out there listening have problems in their life? I know that I have frequent problems, and in businesses, just being alive in general, you're going to have problems as an adult. It is inevitable that situations are going to arise in your life where problems are going to be the thing that's right in front of you. And one thing that I've realized, I've never been able to identify a problem area and calmly figure out the solution. I've actually probably made the problem bigger and worse than what it really was to start with by focusing on the problem and then not being strategic about how to overcome that situation. So because of years of doing that, because of issues getting bigger than what they should have been, and me not understanding that I made it worse and not better, I've had to be somewhat strategic and sit back and think about what to do. And part of a program that I'm in the process of developing, I kind of sat back and realized that I need some sort of problem solving guide for me. This is all based on me having my own issues in life and recognizing that I have to fix this thing, that this thing that I am up against is a direct issue in my life and I have to do something about it. So what did I do? Instead of, blaming other people or not being able to take accountability for what the thing was that I was creating, I had to sit back and realize I need something that I can think about that is at the front of my mind whenever a problem arises. And so I created the Pipeline of Prosperity Problem Solving Guide. It's a 5-step guide, and I call it the 5P problem solving process. When you're faced with a situation, oftentimes the situation is X, but it becomes X, Y, and Z because of how you react to it. And a lot of situations that arise, especially in business, we have emotion about because we feel a certain way based on our experience about that situation. So if it's a personnel issue, if it's a management issue, if it's something that you used to do, you already have a preconceived notion about what the answer is or what the solution is and how to fix the problem. But it doesn't mean you're right. And I know for me, one thing that I always struggled with was going right to all the different sources, trying to get information, and then, going about my presentation or my plan. And what I figured out is just by sending an email without any context and asking questions or sending out rapid fire emails of all this information I need, it creates panic in the organization. Unintentional, but intention only matters to a certain degree whenever there's no explanation. Just like your kids, if you tell them to go brush their teeth every day and you have to constantly tell them and then they just say, why do I need to brush my teeth? Why do I need to brush my teeth? They don't realize that their teeth could fall out, right? Like there are serious consequences for not brushing your teeth. Well, when you just tell them because I said so, then they don't understand it, and then they're more likely to rebel against that thing that you're telling them to do without explaining it. And oftentimes, without an explanation, people create their own thought in their head about what you're doing and why you're doing it, how you're doing it, because they don't understand where you're coming from. It's more than likely nothing to do with them. But if they don't know that, it can become about them. And so a lot of what I've realized is regardless of what your intent is, regardless of the direction or the clarity that you have, if you don't clearly explain that intent and that direction and create clarity about the vision behind what you're doing, the problem gets bigger. And when the problem gets bigger, the solution isn't the focus, the problem's the focus. Then a negative mindset comes in, and then everything escalates from there. So what could be the old classic game of telephone where one person says something, takes it out of context, 30 people get told the same message, but by the time it gets back to the person who started the message, it's not even remotely close to the actual message that was trying to be delivered. And so what I always do now, whenever something arises, my first step is not the emotional thing that I think, not what I think is logical. I have to take a third-party viewpoint from sitting over on the sideline. So I take myself and remove myself from what I know out of that situation and park it. That's the first step. What are the facts? That is what is the most important. What is factual about this situation? I have to dissect the facts with no emotional, no logical stamps at first. What do the facts tell me? What can I pull from a spreadsheet, from an analytical viewpoint to showcase what's black and white? Gray area is not relevant. What is black and white? I have to take all my personal feelings out of it. I have to make sure that I am looking at the factual information about this particular situation. So I gather all the facts. I look at it from a third-party viewpoint. What is fact? Point blank. And an example of that would be all you personal trainers out there. I know this is a hard situation that you deal with frequently. When you are giving someone diet protocol and you're trying to help someone with a weight loss journey, the first step most personal trainers will do is try to figure out what your macros are. And I know I have told people time and time again, when they come to me and say, hey, I would like to lose 50 pounds. Okay. The first thing that I say is, don't change anything. I need to know what you're doing now. Track everything that you eat and drink for 2 weeks. So if you're putting calories in, they need to be calories tracked. Calories in, calories tracked. I can go from there after 2 weeks of data. What is your maintenance level? What is the baseline level of what you are taking in from a calorie standpoint? Once I know that, I know how your body works. So you weigh yourself on day 1, you weigh yourself on day 14. I have 2 weeks of data. The weight is in at the same time. Fasted, no water, no food. Wake up first thing in the morning, use the restroom, weigh yourself. Same exact scenario each time. So no clothes, no water, no food, fasted, wake up, wait. Same exact scenario. If your weight stays the same on 2,500 calories, I know 2,500 calories is your maintenance, and we work from there. Don't tell me that you eat the same thing every day, and here's what it looks like. It's not what I asked you to do. I need the black and white. I need to know 1,000%, not what you think, but what you can show me from an analytical standpoint. What are the facts of the situation? What have you tracked? What is put in place for you to show me this is what I have done? And personal trainers out there, I know that you're shaking your head right now with this because it is something that is a pain point for most personal trainers. Don't tell me that you know what you're doing or you assume you know what you're doing. You don't, because if you did, you wouldn't be here having this conversation in the first place. If you knew how to lose weight but you don't track, why are you trying to lose weight if you know how to do it already? So tracking your macros is an example. Don't say that, oh, I eat the same thing every day, here's what it is. Well, what about your serving size? What's your macro split look like? There's so many layers to it. Trainers normally ask for that macro base from a calorie standpoint to understand what you've been doing to get you where you want to go. We have to adjust this based off of your maintenance level. So back to the 5P problem solving guide. The first thing you have to do is understand what's fact. So the presentation is the first P. Presentation. Present all of the facts about this certain particular situation and understand, okay, here is the problem. And focus very little on this problem. So this is the big part of it. The problem is only as big as what the focus is on it. Understanding that 10% of the time you should focus on the problem. If you get much more than that, you're probably going to make it bigger than what it should be. Start with the facts and then outline what needs to happen from your viewpoint. So bring yourself back into this conversation from that third-party view. What is factual about it? What do you think needs to happen? What direction should you be heading? Who do you need on the team to overcome this thing? And then make sure that you're fully committed to what you think needs to happen. Commitment is got to be 100%. It's non-negotiable. Have in your mind an ideal outcome of what it should look like. And then how do you stay positive throughout the whole entire thing? Positivity throughout this is massive. If you can be in a bad mood for no reason, you can be in a good mood for no reason. So think of it from that standpoint. If you can lead with positivity, you can get a positive outcome. If you lead with negativity or pessimistic, ideal, you will end up having a negative outcome regardless if it's good or not. So presentation and how you attack it from a positivity standpoint is very, very crucial. Once you understand the presentation stage, this is the biggest amount of time being spent. Presentation is the majority of it. 90% of your time after you present the facts to yourself needs to be on the solution. And then the second B, partnership. So identify who you want to build the team around. What do you need on that team from a strength standpoint to accommodate your weaknesses, or who on that team is best fit to overcome that situation? Identify how many people you want on the team. Be aware of the team members' ability, their current workload, their skill set as far as that particular situation. You need to ensure that everyone on the team has the commitment of 100% and the capacity to also do the thing that you're doing without being overwhelmed with their current workload. If they're not 100%, they're not on the team. It's not every situation, but in this particular situation, if it needs to be solved with action and quickly, you have to make sure that people understand the sense of urgency and that are fully committed to overcoming it. So you have your team selected, and then you go to the planning stage. Get your team together, plan the first step and the outcome that you desire. So take the selected team members, develop your plan. This step is very crucial to be done fast. You can have the perfect plan over time, and then it's going to get blown up once you get punched in the mouth. The famous Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, making sure that you understand where you need to start and where you want to end up at is the most important. Obviously, complex situations sometimes need complex plans, but anybody that has dealt with situations within an organization or in their personal life, a plan changes no matter what throughout. If you've established a perfect plan that went exactly the way it was supposed to, kudos to you. It's very rare though. So the planning stage needs to be done quick. There are no perfect plans in my opinion. Don't get caught up in the minor detail of it. Have the essential detail, and remember, it's progress over perfection. Plan fast and adjust as needed. So the planning is the third P. And then it's time to get shit done. The fourth P is performance. Take massive action. Move fast. Execute the plan that you have established. Overcome the obstacles as they come. Remember that progress over perfection. And majority of the time when you're progressing through this thing, when something is the worst, it feels the heaviest, you're getting ready to have a breakthrough. So just remember in the back of your mind that I'm getting ready to accomplish this big feat or overcome this obstacle when it gets the hardest. Keep that same mentality of a solution-focused, positive mindset, and know it's almost done. We're almost there. And once you perform and you get the thing accomplished, then the last step and most commonly missed is the fifth P is prosperity, successful or thriving. So in life, if you're successful or thriving, you don't repeat mistakes. And so often, things that led to this thing happening, to this problem occurring, the solution is temporary if you don't overcome and fix what was in place before this arose. So after you figure out the solution, you've taken the action and overcome the thing, reflect on the accomplishment, take notes on what you learned, have a win or learn, never lose mentality, but also understand that there still may be pain points that are within your company or your personal life or whatever it may be. There's still things there that led to this happening. So make sure that anything that happened is not still in place. Look at what led to this thing occurring and make sure that, you know what, there might be things that are still in the organization that I need to adjust. Make sure that what led to it is taken care of also. So just a quick overview. You must maintain a positive mindset throughout the whole entire process. Start by recognizing the true reality of the situation, the black and white. Take that third-party viewpoint, like I said earlier, and take all the emotion out of it. Minimal time can be spent on the problem. 90% of the focus should be on the solution. The solution focus will provide momentum and allow better progress anyways. It'll be more enjoyable for what little enjoyment you can have. The person leading the charge must have a positive mindset throughout the entire process. I cannot double down on this enough. I cannot emphasize this enough. Positivity throughout the process is so crucial. 90% of the team's energy needs to be focused on the solution, not just yours, but the team's on the solution. And do not forget, problems will always arise, and most problems are a positive sign of growth. When you're hitting the ceiling of complexity and this problem is weighing you down, just know that you're about ready to evolve and have a breakthrough. And that is when it gets the hardest, but that is also when it gets the most rewarding. I cannot emphasize this enough. Test it out, try it, send me feedback. ironandinfrastructure@gmail.com. Send feedback. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. If it works, please let me know. I will gladly send you the text and layout for it. I think you guys can try this out. I think it's going to work. Sitting back sometimes and taking a deep breath before you assess or address anything is so crucial. Trust me when I say this, because it comes from someone that's a gas-only type of person. Sit back, get the facts, what's black and white, understand the reality situation, and then take action. If you're mindlessly wondering and taking action, you're going to create chaos. Trust me when I say that chaos is not something you want to create, especially within an organization or your personal life. So sit back and relax, present the facts to yourself. The 5P problem-solving guide. It works. I promise you it works. If you want more insight on it, let me know. Iron Infrastructure Podcast. Thanks for listening. I appreciate all the support. You guys have been absolutely awesome. If you need anything, anybody out there, please feel free to reach out to me. My social media handles are Jacob Emery 44. That is on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You name it, it's out there. Get a hold of me. I'm here for you guys to help out. I would love some feedback on what I can put out there. And if you need any of the texts that I mentioned, it's an open book. So appreciate everyone. We'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by Max Effort Muscle. For all your supplement needs, go to maxeffortmuscle.com.